Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Lifelong Learning and Discerning. Today, let's discuss raising our children in nature. Now, if we study the outer signs and the inner signs, so we study the world around us that we are enmeshed within, that we move within, that we move through. We also move as. We are the world, in fact. We are nature, in fact. And as we study our internal nature, we find out that we are deeply interconnected with all of creation. So everything's interconnected in the outer and the inner. You are the place where the two seas meet, the outer and the inner, the obvious and the hidden, the macro and the micro, the heavenly and the earthly, however you want to conceptualize it. And we are in some very challenging times right now. These are the days that the prophets, peace be upon all of them, warned that we would need to go into the mountains. Our Nebi, peace be upon him, he said that in the time of danger that it's important to go to the rainy mountains and valleys. So to withdraw from the world, from the civilized world, so to speak, and move more into nature. Isa alayhi salam also said that in the days of difficulty, to head for the mountains as well, and to pray that it's not during winter and that you're not with child, because those would make things more challenging. So I wanted to just get to the point of we need to return to nature, and we need to raise our children to be in harmony with nature. Now, nature, we tend to think of as something separate from us. We've been trained to think that way. That's not the reality of things. We are nature. We are part of nature. We have our uniquenesses, as do each aspect, each group within this very sophisticated realm of creation. All the various ecosystems, the flora, the fauna, the minerals, the fungi. So some of the things that we can do to get our children back into nature, like not all of us are able to go and move to the countryside and live in the rainy mountains or the rainy valleys at this point. And so we need to be, extricating ourselves from the realm of devil tech and synthetic artifice. We need to remove ourselves from the realm of genetically modified foods and drinks. We need to get back to organic foods, drinks. And so we need to feed our children the best quality, the foods that are closest to the garden, that are ethical and pure and nutrifying, cleansing, purifying. Because we got to cleanse out all the garbage. And our children need to be learning this from very early on. We need to be taking road trips with our families and getting into nature. Even if you're not able to go to, say, national parks or beaches or mountains or whatever, and get your children acclimatized to camping, to hiking, to walking, to trekking, which would be very, very valuable for their toolkits as they grow in wisdom, inshallah. So it's very important to get them into nature, even if it's just the most wooded city parks or areas in the parks in the suburbs or the region. But get them into nature as much as possible. Road trip and use different modes of transportation, and let them walk and let them play in nature. National parks, state parks, provincial parks. It just all depends on where you live and what your options are, but get them into nature as much as possible. And at home, it would be nice if you've got enough space, have garden boxes. Like each person in the family is responsible for a garden box. And of course you teach a child step by step. And maybe you have a little, farm plot next in your backyard or on the side of the yard, something, or side of the house, something like that. It's a little sunny spot that you can grow some fruits, some vegetables. And that this is a place where the whole family collaborates and cooperates to grow, a few basic crops, maybe a potato crop, maybe some wheat, some barley, some rice, wherever, depending on where you're living. And so it's like, as the children are learning how to grow things on their own, and then to take whatever they grow and they learn the history of it. They learn the science of the chemistry of the plants, what kind of nutritional value they have, what healing values they may have. They're also learning about the cycles of life. They're witnessing impermanence, the way that nothing in this realm is everlasting except for the truth. And so they would be learning all these various lessons by playing in the soil, by growing soil, by composting, even learning how to systematically break down what is waste within the home. You know, well, this can be recycled and reused by us, or maybe this can be composted. Maybe this can be cleaned up and set aside and used in a wood fire for the outside during winter or autumn, or in a fireplace inside our wood burning stove. Or it can be saved for little fire starting packs when we go camping. And we should be going camping as often as possible with our children. So get the children into nature. You know, take them to nature museums so that they can learn about the various ecosystems and, you know, the various types of flora and fauna. Like, take them to botanical gardens, to places where you can, where they've got plants and trees and whatnot labeled. And then you can set aside a little pre-study plan and a post-visit, like a pre-visit plan, a plan of study while you're there, and a plan for when you leave. So for instance, maybe your children will carry notebooks and learn how to do multi-column notes, or Cornell notes. And maybe you'll give them some key questions when you go to a museum, and they can study those things. Or maybe they choose, at a botanical gardens, they choose 5 different plants. They learn the scientific names behind them, where the plants originate, what some of the uses of the plants have been for humans and animals. We want to ensure that our children are very comfortable in any type of environment, that they can flow in an urban environment, that they can flow in a suburban environment, that they can flow in nature and in a variety of different types of natural environments, deserts, waterlands, canoeing on the river, or kayaking or rafting. So we want our children to be immersed in nature so they are very comfortable, and they can go into kind of egoless flow states where it's like they can just move through the terrain with no problem, and they can assess obstacles in a critically minded and intuitive manner, and adapt to to whatever situation they might be facing in a fluid, flexible manner, in an ethical manner, in the manner of the prophets, peace be upon them, all of whom were very adept and comfortable within nature. If you study the stories of the prophets, peace be upon all of them, you will find that they were spending long periods of time in isolation out in the wilderness. They would go for 40-day walks out in the desert. They would fast out in nature. They would spend time in the darkness of caves. They would sit and contemplate and pray in wooded areas, among rock formations. So they would seek out these places where they could extract themselves from daily affairs, from business, etc., and just focus on the one. Just focus entirely as the created upon the Creator. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is important. Like, we want our children to have stories of those who are in harmony with nature, and including the stories of the prophets. We want excellent exemplars for our children, and including living exemplars. And we don't want just people who have a lot of book knowledge, who have great memorization skills. Like, if they have the memorization skills, that's all good. May our children have the most excellent memorization and analytic skills possible. So anyway, I just wanted to encourage us to from day one, from the very beginning, get our children into nature, have them comfortable swimming in salt water and fresh water, utilizing different types of vehicles in different types of terrains, being able to defend themselves, take care of themselves, and flow in nature. And also, as Muslimin, we have to maintain the highest level ethics. And so we want to ensure that we are living a life of non-harming to the greatest extent possible. We eliminate and minimize harm to the greatest extent that we are capable of. And so we want our children to be able to not be scared of the various creatures, and to live in harmony. So anyway, these are just some thoughts and some ideas. I'll be more systematic in a proper presentation soon, inshallah. And let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a full lecture on these topics, and if there are any things that you think that would be helpful to add in to such a discussion, or maybe examples from Quran, Hadith, etc. So until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.